When you start moving into the main entrance area of the library, you will find this bird sitting on this desktop here. When you split up from Rosa in this level, you'll be presented with two new weapons. One is the desk drawer here, and the other one is the paper cutter. You're going to want to take the desk drawer because even though it may not be your favorite weapon in the world, by the time you actually find some people to hit with this, other than shadow people, you're going to be in a location where you can't grab desk drawers anymore. When Rosa gets kidnapped, while you're looking for her, you'll be brought to these double doors here. If you go through those and head just around the corner, you're going to find the first bird on one of these book carts. If you keep going around, you're going to be prompted to take out a tool, but if you go a little bit further, you're going to find the first piece of metal in this level behind this object. After reviewing the evidence here, this door will be chopped down. You can't hit this first guy, but the second guy is quite willing to get smacked around by your drawer. With our drawer weapon out of the way, go find yourself a paper cutter. There will be a guy around this corner wielding a 45, so make sure you zap him real quick. Use your paper cutter on him, and then move this filing cabinet aside for our third bird here. Once you get a crowbar, you'll eventually go back towards the beginning of the library, and if you're quick enough, you can grab a submachine gun from one of the people that will be there, so that you can smack one of the other people around with it. Of course, everyone has guns, so you need to be awfully careful about trying to use this as a weapon to attack people with. But after you're done with that, you can re-grab your crowbar, and now you can use that to open doors that were at the very beginning of the level and allow yourself to get to this TV in here. And that gives us the Bird Bath TV achievement. So as soon as you get to the Shelburne reading room, you're going to have the gas spectrometer start sensing something, and over on the other side of the room is a couple of different things. We've got Rosa, we've got a sledgehammer here, and we've also got this bird down at our feet here. After using the sledgehammer to unlock this ladder and come up here, you will find a bird sitting on top of these before you go to see Rosa. While walking with Rosa, you'll eventually see these bars looking out to where you've been before, but you'll also see a couple of boxes here with some metal behind it if you move them. An important weapon that can be very easy to miss in the library is the burnt 2x4. This one is different from any of the other 2x4s, so make sure you grab it and use it a little bit. There we go, burnt 2x4 used. Around this corner here, you'll see a number of guys come out, including one from the ceiling. Right next to him on the table is the final bird for this level. After fighting 3 guys with various guns in this room, you'll be presented with a double door as well as some eyes on the wall. One of these little desk-like things can be moved, and there's a piece of metal right behind it, which is our final piece of metal. As you start the school, there's going to be a couple of different things, including a desktop, which is a brand new weapon, and through this third door here, right around these 2 stacked desks, is going to be your first bird and an exploding light. When all of this stuff gets dragged back against the wall, you'll be able to get to this door back here and follow the gore on the ground around the corner, and you'll find this nice piece of metal here. Let's use our desktop on someone. Well, that was real fast. Well, if the handrail earlier didn't count from that subway train, here's the only other place I know of to grab a handrail. So definitely grab that just in case you need it. But also in this bathroom next to it, you're going to find another new bird. Oh, apparently there's a handrail above the bird as well, so a couple different handrails to get here. Let's go handrail this guy to death for scratching on this board. What an asshole he is. No. After you jump down from this half-destroyed stairwell, if you come over to the side here, you'll see a creepy shadow and another bird down on the ground. Killing this lunch lady or butcher or whatever she is exactly will offer you the only time to grab a meat cleaver in this entire game. Make sure you don't squander it. So after using the cleaver as what I suppose you could call an entry weapon, you'll get this axe, and that will cause the door back over this way to open and let this guy come through. And as long as you can manage to kill him and hopefully not burn yourself, you will have used the meat cleaver. You'll be jumping down from a gym through here because it's been destroyed by a basketball hoop. Around the corner will be a desk with a piece of metal right behind it. You'll have the choice of going down this short flight of stairs or up a longer flight of stairs. Go down the short flight first, which will bring you to an even longer flight of stairs. That will bring you to a bird on the ground. If you turn around the corner, you'll also find this TV sitting in here, and that gets you the test pattern TV achievement. After you see a fake version of yourself die, you'll find this rifle sitting in here. For the longest time I thought that this was an M1 Garand when I was playing the game, but it's actually a Ruger AC-556 carbine. We'll go ahead and turn this around and find a guy right outside that we can smack around with it. If he decides that he wants to be smacked around with it. He seems a bit afraid of us walking around with his rifle, and rightly so. It is a pretty strong rifle. Come here, buddy. And with that, we have completely destroyed the rifle. Well, this is certainly a unique glitch. I would think this would be part of the game. It looks like someone chopped someone's head off and hands, but it's actually an invisible body. Interesting. Eventually you'll come upon this locker room here where you could do more locker doors, but you'll also see these boarded windows. If you head around the corner, you'll see a bird at the very end. You'll see a piece of metal behind this locked door which requires a sledgehammer. That is actually right behind you and can sometimes be fairly easy to miss. Go ahead and use that on this door and grab this nice piece of metal here, which is the final piece of metal for this chapter. After heading through a really nasty shower, proving that the janitorial staff for this school aren't really working, you'll be right outside the men's bathroom and have the women's on the other side. But at the very end of all of these, you will find the final bird for this chapter. Chapter 9 is very different from all the other chapters in that you can really go anywhere in this place and collect anything out of order. It's not linear like the rest of the game at all, but I'm going to try and make it as linear as possible. So the first bird is over on this table right next to the entrance, and I also recommend you head over towards the fireplace to find the fireplace poker, which is a brand new weapon here. Also, if you head through these double doors and continue straight across and all the way down the hall, you are going to find this movable dresser here, which has the very first piece of metal behind it. The next bird we're tracking down will be in the kitchen fridge. All you have to do is head up to it, open it up, and you have your bird. Next to that will be the stairs to the basement. And when you go down here, you'll start getting greeted by Silent Hill monsters everywhere. If you've got the fireplace poker, you're pretty well set to kill these guys. Also, if you didn't get the large plank before, there is a large plank here that you can get. And this is where you start to see large planks in abundance, where you didn't see them before. Also, under the stairwell is our next piece of metal here. While rummaging around the basement with the Silent Hill monsters, you should find a mirror, and at the foot of the mirror you will find a bird. If you head around the corner and continue on around here through a whole bunch of little obstacles and possibly Silent Hill monsters coming out at you, you'll eventually come across a rusty oven that you can move. If you go into here, you'll find a submachine gun as well as this TV achievement, which will unlock a gold detective badge achievement. Now we're headed upstairs. Take a right at the top of the stairs and keep going around until you get to the second door over here. And inside of here you will find a flipped over bathtub. Under that is your next bird. From the bathtub bird, turn right, and just around the corner on the bed you will find a brand new bird. From the bird on the bed, if you back up just a bit, you might be able to see that there are birds with eyes on the wall. If you open up this closet here, you will find the final piece of metal. The final bird for this area is up in the attic and requires you to have a sledgehammer to break open the door. The sledgehammer can be found in the same room that you overturned the bathtub to get a bird, in the closet. Once you have that, head back to the door to break it open. Once you're into the main part of the attic, hang a right and check behind these boxes here for the very final bird. You may remember the dual stick-wielding guy from the attic area. If you manage to hit him just right with your sledgehammer, you'll actually do a one-hit kill on him. But you have to do it straight in his chest. Once you have done that, you'll get the stick weapon, which actually makes a nice sound when you swing it. I like that. Let's go find a Silent Hill monster to use our stick on, shall we? There's gotta be one down here somewhere. There you are. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, straight to the face. How'd you like that? Anyone else want some? No? Alright, it looks like the Silent Hill monsters are a little bit timid down here, but we'll search one out, eventually I imagine. Somewhere down here in the depths below. I bet you they're waiting to enjoy this stick. Right? Right. There we go. Yeah. It's a fun stick to use. It's a very, very quick weapon compared to most weapons that you get in this game, and feels quite handy. Once you go through the mirror, no one else can follow. Not even creepy Silent Hill creatures. Yeah. Poor guy. He doesn't know what the meaning of walking forward is. When you start the final chapter, you will be forced to grab this 2x4 of fire, which is the very final weapon. It also reveals the path to this bird right here, which you actually have to climb through to, even though you can see it very clearly. And that is the very first bird for this area. A shadow will come rushing by and break out this fence here, but if you keep heading toward the fire over here, you'll eventually get a checkpoint, and this building over here will present you with the first piece of metal for this chapter. Okay, let's go ahead and make use of a weapon that's near and dear to all of us, because it's one we use a whole bunch in this level. And hopefully, because I've been using melee for this entire game, I will be a lot better at fighting than I was the last time I was here. The one problem about the 2x4 with fire is it is not a particularly strong weapon compared to most of the weapons that you can get. However, it kind of becomes your flashlight in this level because you don't really have anything else to help you out. Oh yeah, I seem to be much better at melee now. Also, if you move this trailer here, you will find another bird. You'll start to see these tire tracks on the ground, and if you head forward and look at this red tractor here, you will find the next bird for this chapter. After killing a whole bunch of guys and watching some of them try to do breakdance moves because they have really glitchy ragdoll physics, you might notice this piece of metal sitting on this bridge here. You'll have to hop over this little gate thing before you actually get onto this bridge. When you head up a hill because you need to move these objects down here, you'll find this tiny little shack. Inside will be a bunch of green crates, and if you move this one, you will find a new bird. After killing all of these ambushing fiends in the most deadly game of Ring Around the Rosie I'm sure most of you have ever played, you'll be able to head over here where there's going to be some health kits and a nice little bird for you to pick up and move on to new things. After killing Stickman, Revenge of the Stickman, you'll eventually head into this very long building here and find the final piece of metal. If you head down to the very end of this place, you're also going to find a door with the last bird and a stick weapon that you will have to switch to. And that brings you to here, which is the very end game, and that is all of the birds and weapons and pieces of metal and TVs. And if you did it right, you should have all the achievements by now, including the Melee Mayhem achievement, which requires you to use every single weapon once on various enemies throughout the entire game. Keep in mind that as long as you actually do finish a chapter, it does count towards the Melee Mayhem achievement, as far as I can tell, because I got the Melee Mayhem achievement during this run while I was showing all of the different weapons, rather than at the very end of this run. I'll see y'all later when we are looking at what achievements we have unlocked.